And now we're going to move on to wiring up all the components together. So basically what you want to do is follow this diagram here. So I'm going to pause the video and put up this diagram. So did you see that? That's okay if you didn't. You don't need to go back. There's a little link in the description that you could click on to see a full high-resolution image of that diagram. So basically, this control board drives everything, controls everything, everything is connected to it. These two sections here connect to the sidebars. It doesn't matter which one goes where. You can connect this one to this one, and then this one to this one. There's 5 pads here, 5 pads on each one of these. So run wires from here to here, here to here, or you can run here to here, here to there. It doesn't matter which side is connected to what segment. It doesn't matter at all. It's not going to affect anything at all. The signals that come out here are identical. And then this ear piece here is going to connect to these pads over here. And then this little button panel is going to connect to the pads over here. So that's pretty much it. I'm going to go kind of in depth in this video on how to make the all the connections between the boards. But if you have some electronics experience, you could probably skip a significant portion of this video, where I'm just going to show how to take a wire, strip off the insulation, and solder it. You need about 1.5 feet between each one of these segments. So 1.5 feet between here, 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 and here. You can make those lengths shorter, longer, up to you, but 1.5 feet will be great. Another thing to note is the power supply for this whole kit comes from the Guyman basic kit. So if you look at the Guyman basic kit, there is a 5 volt outline, and that's where these 2 pads here connect to. Alternately, if you're experienced enough, you can whip up your own 5 volt power supply and power it off that. Again, up to you. I'm not going to provide any direction on how to do that, but if you know how to do that, go right ahead. You don't have to power this off the basic kit, but that's why this is an upgrade kit, because it connects to the basic kit. So, I guess we should get started on wiring all this stuff up. So all this stuff is going to be wired with this flat ribbon cable. You need 5 conductors for each one of these pieces. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to count off 5 conductors here. Focus. Come on. So this wire has a bunch of wires in here. I'm going to rip off a section of 5, and then I'm going to strip off the insulation and solder it between here and here. I'll go in depth, obviously. So this is about a 3-foot section of wire. I'm going to split it in half, so I get 2 1.5 foot length sections. This stuff cuts easily with scissors. And then I'm going to go ahead and split apart all the segments on this end and on the other end. So instead of having 1 strip, I'll have 5 individual pieces with the rest of it in strip form. So it'll be like splayed out here. Oh, you'll see. So basically you need to do this. You need to splay out the wires like so. And then same thing on the other side, same thing on the other cable. And then you want to take your wire strippers, I have these, and you want to strip off about 1/4 inch of insulation off of each wire. Alright, so that's 1 wire done. I'm going to go ahead and do the same thing to the other wire. And now we're going to go ahead and tin the ends of this wire. So let me show you how to do that. Alright, so what you want to do is you take your soldering iron, take your solder, just basically heat up the wire and coat it with solder. Just like that. and then all the strands will bunch together and you'll be left with this nice solid silver finish to the wire. So you want to do that to both wires, to both ends of the wires. And then what I like to do is trim off a bunch of the excess wire, so I'm left with about 1/8 of an inch of insulation. So somewhere like that. Alright, now comes the real wiring part. So basically take your wires, solder on top there. It should be pretty easy to solder since you've tinned the wires and you've tinned the pads. So all you have to do is just put the wire where you want to solder it and then touch it with a soldering iron. And it should solder just like that. And obviously do the same to the rest of the wires. So there's one end soldered to the chin piece. So if you notice, there's these little letters here. So those correspond to the letters onto here. So you see there's a G, a V+, a C, an A, and a B. So you basically just match up the wires onto these pads here. And then that's how you connect the chin pieces. So basically you fish the other end, so my G's on the left. So here's what we're going to connect to G. I'm just going to connect it right there. And there you have it. That's this chin piece, the left one, connected to the left ear. And we're going to go ahead and do the same thing for the right chin piece. I'm going to go ahead and solder a wire into here and then solder the wires to here. Again, I'll go in depth. So again, take your wire, solder it to the pads. And then we're going to go ahead and solder it onto here. You'll notice that the text is a little bit cut off. You can probably tell that the top pad is B because that's the only one not printed on here. But just a little side note. So I'm going to go ahead and connect the G, the V+, V+, C, A, and B all to this control board. Take care not to screw up the pattern, because if you do, it'll take you a bit to figure out what you did wrong. So might as well get it right on the first try, right? Anyway, I'm gonna go ahead and solder these. Alright, so that's the chin bars soldered to the left ear. Now we're gonna go ahead and move on to the right ear, which we're just gonna connect to the pads down there. Again, same process. I'll go in depth. So for this part, you'll need 6 wires. So I'm gonna rip off a section of 6 wires off of my cable here. So here I have about 1.5 foot length section of wire. I'm gonna go ahead and split apart all these wires. And I'm gonna go ahead and trim off about a 1/4 inch of insulation off both sides. And again, we're going to go ahead and tin all these wires. And now we're going to go ahead and solder all the wires onto the pads here. And if you look here, you'll notice that the ear's labeled 1 through 6. And if you look at the right earpiece, it's also labeled 1 through 6. So you just want to go ahead and connect all the wires together. So my 6 is here. So I'm going to follow it up. And I'm going to go ahead and solder it into place. And that's that. That's the right earpiece connected. Now it's time for the little control board. So if you look on the control board, you'll see these pads are labeled S1 through S4. So that also corresponds to these pads here. So what you want to do is take your wire and you want to break off a 4-wire section of it to connect these two boards together. And again, splay apart the leads on both ends. And then take your wire strippers and take off about 1/4 inch. And once again, we're going to tin the wires. And I'm going to start with the control board. I'm going to go ahead and solder the 4 wires into the 4 pads here. And on the left ear, I'm going to go ahead and connect the wires. So S1 is here, the top here, so it's this one. So I'm going to go ahead and solder these onto here. So that's it. That's pretty much the final connection. Now all you have to do is connect the power and ground to the Guy Basic kit, which I'll do right now. So on the left we have the Guy Basic kit. Don't mind that it's an unpopulated bare PCB, because yours will have a microcontroller, 2 voltage regulators and wires and whatnot connected here. So we're gonna basically connect this part to this part. So you see the 5-volt out here, there's a plus and a minus, so that connects to the VCC and the ground. So you want to connect the plus to the VCC and the minus to the GND, which I'll do for you. And you'll need a 2-conductor section of wire, and you want to split the leads, and then you want to trim the insulation off. And then you want to go ahead and tin all the leads, all the wires. And I'm going to connect one side, or we're going to take these wires and we're going to go ahead and connect it to VCC and ground and GND. And we have our power wires connected to the left ear. And we're going to go over here to the Guy Basic kit, and we have the plus and the minus. We're going to go ahead and connect the VCC to the plus and the GND to the minus. And that's it, you're done. So that's it, you are done. And if this Guyman kit were assembled and the power is connected and whatnot, and you flip the switch on the 4AA battery pack, this whole upgrade kit would light up. And I'll show you what it looks like in the next video. I'll also show you how to apply the plastic light filters and how to clean up the bent LEDs, because that's pretty ugly. And I'll show you how to fix that, and it's pretty easy to do. So I'll do that in the next video.